Good morning, viewers. Welcome to the very first episode of the first season of the Table Talk Show. I am Pretty. The Table Talk Show will be an interactive show that will be looking at the youth mostly, different issues that are affecting us, different issues that are looking at us, the youth, not only here in Rwanda or Africa, but around the world. Now, I'm not alone today. I'm with this wonderful gentleman, Saiba. You're welcome on the show.
Thank you.
And this beautiful lady with me, Davina, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great to have you on the show today. Today's topic is going to be touching the youth, like I said, and it's going to be touching our values, our beliefs, our communities, and so much more. And that topic is about our dress code. Specifically about the indecent dress code, as it's being said, it's making a lot of noise out here. Parents are complaining, most adults are complaining, and us, the youth, are also complaining. So let's hear what we have to say about it today. To begin with you, Saiba, what is indecent to you? What is indecent dress code in your own words?
Okay, basically, to the youth, currently the youth have studied a lot, they know the history. So when you talk about indecency, to some point, it's like being naked to them. But when it comes to the parents, it's less of being naked, almost something towards being naked. So which goes now to the female part, because for the male I think we don't have a lot of indecency.
We'll see. We'll hear about that. Yeah.
So basically that's what I think. And so indecency, when it comes, you can define it in two different ways. So coming to the male section, for me to be like indecent to some point is maybe if I'm not putting on like my pants. I think that's indecent.
Okay.
And I like move around the streets. That's which I do. Most boys don't do that. Then for the females, it's they do a lot of it.
So in your own words, indecency is looking at the females. I mean, indecent dressing, because indecency is a broad word.
Majorly. I think that's what we are going to discuss more.
While we're being attacked.
Yeah, definitely being attacked.
Cyber, briefly, in your own words, what is indecent dressing? In your own words, leave alone the parents or what the community has to say. What is it to you?
It's easy. You don't have to think a lot. It's looking naked or exposing some of your private parts, almost connected to your private parts.
Well said. Yes, let's hear from Davina. We've been attacked. Let me hear what you have to say. He has said men or boys are not indecent. That the only way he'll be decent is if he walked without his pants on. So what do you have to say about it?
I personally think that a piece of cloth cannot be indecent without being worn at a specific place. So a certain outfit is defined to be indecent depending on who is wearing it, when and where. If, for example, I were to see a girl putting on a mini skirt that is right under their butt and putting on a bra and entering a nightclub, I would in no means judge them. In fact, I wouldn't even double think it, because that's the right attire for the right place.
Okay.
But if you're putting on a mini skirt and you're putting on a bra and you're walking into an office, then definitely something somewhere somehow is loose.
But if we talk about the club now, if I'm to ask a question, in the club, do you need like to be that naked for you to dance or take some little of alcohol?
Look, there is a reason as to why people go to clubs. I mean, there are restaurants and there are clubs,
Yeah, I know.
right? So if you want club behaviors, you go to the club.
Okay.
If you want restaurant behaviors, you go to the restaurant.
Yeah.
You're not gonna go to a club and expect decency. Obviously, there is a certain level of expectation
So
that
in
you're
your
going
own
to
words,
have.
indecent dress codes for indecent places.
Yes.
Thank you. So, like I said, Saiba earlier said that men, the indecent dress code is specifically looking at the women. He said there's nothing like that in the male gender. What do you have to say about that?
I would say that he's very
He's
mistaken.
being biased.
He's being very biased.
No.
Cyber, here's why. I'm gonna tell you why I'm saying
No,
you're
like
being very
he's
biased.
giving you the wrong question. I didn't say totally like we can't go indecent. I gave you an example.
You're saying
let
no.
me rephrase
I gave you an
this.
example like if
Let
I
me
have
rephrase this.
I have no pants on, that's indecency like for me.
Okay.
Okay, so the only form of indecency there is if a man or a boy walked without his pants on.
Yeah.
So, Saib, how about those that walk shirtless?
That's okay.
It's okay to you.
Yeah,
So walking
depending
with
on where you are going, as also Davina just talked about it, like you can't enter someone's office and then you're an employee and then you have no shirt on. That is indecent. Like seriously, we all know that.
Okay.
Yeah? But when it comes to like, I'm just on a beach and I have no shirt on, it's different from when a female is at the beach without the upper, let's say, sleeveless or something. Yeah. Do you get the two images? Like compare the two.
Yeah.
Would you rather see a guy or see the female?
Depends
You
on
would
where
see the
they
guy,
are.
of course. I know. Because
Okay.
Anyways, Saiba, let me tell you something. Let me give you an example. So I once went to the hospital. My younger sister was ill, and we had to take her to the hospital in a rush, and it was in the middle of the day, right? And while at the hospital, my 12-year-old young sister at the time looked at a man who was at the cashier's window. You know, like hospitals usually have cashier's windows where you can go pay your bills and stuff. The man was at the cashier's window and he was trying to pay his bills. But literally, the whole of his butt was outside.
the guy.
The guy.
Okay.
No,
Serious.
actually not a guy. He was a grown man. A grown man who is in the age range of, you know, people that we actually look, fatherly figures. His whole butt was outside.
Okay.
And at the time, my
So all
12
of you saw that.
Actually, I hadn't noticed, but my 12-year-old young sister
Okay.
saw it, thought it was so
Oh,
indecent
sorry
that she
for her.
tapped me and she was like, "Look at that man."
Oh my God.
And I was like, okay, this is so shameful to the point. I mean, I don't understand how a 30-year-old, 40-year-old man would do something that even a 12-year-old can see and recognize that is absolutely not right, is indecent in society. So I do not think indecent dressing is only on the female gender, but there is definitely also a lot of work that needs to be done with regards to the gentleman's side and
More work to the gentleman's side than the female.
no.
Okay.
I'm just saying there's work to be done on both sides.
Coming back on what you said he was a fatherly figure.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
old enough to be a father.
Yes.
So this means though they are attacking the youth on the indecent dress code, it's not actually just among the youth, but it's a general problem.
Yes, it's definitely.
I mean, we have mothers that are still indecent,
Yeah,
and we have fathers that still pull their pants down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, not very many, but they're there. You know, one thing for someone to be youth, it starts with being a child. And one thing that I know, like I've learned, I don't, because I can't say that I have experience in that, but children learn from the actions of their parents. Yes, they see what you do, and then we learn from that. Like basically, that's where we learn our first things, like eating, like the way we dress up and all that. So majority of the youth, the way they put on, basically at first, before they learn anything from the outside, the friends and all that, they first learn this from home. How do our parents put on? If my mom can put on a mini skirt and like slay on these streets, why not? It's normal, it's like okay. But if my mom is this decent woman and then is like so respectful, to some point I also do it like with some fear and all that. So it means by the time someone goes so indecent, it's already something like he or she is almost like 18, 20, but these kids who are like 11, 13, 15, and we find is indecent, to some point it comes from home. How do our parents put on? If my mom can put on a mini skirt and like slay on these streets, why not? It's normal, it's like okay. But if my mom is this decent woman and then is like so respectful, to some point I also do it like with some fear and all that. So it means by the time someone goes so indecent, it's already something like he or she is almost like 18, 20. But these kids who are like 11, 13, 15, and you find is indecent, to some point it comes from home.
I would disagree with you, Cyber, because actually these days the children that are being born in this are not being raised by their parents. They're being raised by TV. They're being raised by internet. Parents are hardly at home. You wake up so early, you leave home at 6 and come back at 9. The child is already asleep. Or if they're lucky, you come around at 8. You just share dinner with them. That's if they're lucky. And then so they hardly get time to see you.
So I think it still goes to the parents. They have lost responsibility.
To some point, we can blame that on them. Yeah, but I think the indecency that is really rising, I can't say rising up, and it's been there for a while. Yeah, these days it's being influenced by what kids see. What kids see from the internet, from their age mates. Yeah, from their age mates on internet, from TVs, music videos and all that. Yeah. So
one other thing I would say though, I do not think that a parent not being there is necessarily cause for a kid being indecent or a kid going astray. Because I personally was raised when my dad and my mom were not there. They were constantly going out, to work, because it was necessary at the end of the day. They needed to go earn the bread that we were going to consume, obviously. But
bread only.
Cyber, that's
bread
a phrase.
Covers everything.
Bread covers everything,
Yeah,
including. Anyways, they constantly had to go to work. My mom was also studying in between her work. She had to work in Gisenyi, go to Uganda for education and stuff like that. And so, as you can imagine, they weren't really there. But though we were living on somewhat our own with the maids just to watch us, we always knew that at any point, if mom or dad pops in, they have to find the house spotless. They have to find us at home. They have to find us having completed our homework if we have any to complete. They have to find us performing in school. Like, we knew that them not being around was not excuse for us to go astray and to do whatever we want to do. So, spending a lot of time with a child does not necessarily guarantee you good results. But what you do with the little time that you have with the child is what shapes them, it helps them understand the direction in which to walk and how to grow up and become a proper gentleman or lady.
Thank you very much, Davina. Now, we're going to get back to that shortly. And about the raising thing, that's a whole new topic that we'll probably have for another time. Now, let's really dig into this. Like, you defined indecency, and you defined indecency in your own words as in indecent dressing. Now, specifically, what are those types of clothes that we term as indecent? How far is indecent? Most of the times we term indecent when it comes to the ladies. We look at how short or how skimpy the skirt or the dress or the short or whatever she's wearing is, or how far has it gone in terms of exposure when it comes to what we put on top. And when it comes to the gents, we look at pocketing their pants. How far does it have to go for you to say that is indecent? Or do we also term, what do they call them, déchiré in French?
Okay.
Yeah. Do we also term that as indecent? So, in your own words, how far is indecent to you? What are those types of clothes that you term as indecent? Let me begin with the lady.
I would personally, like I said, I think a cloth is indecent depending on where it's going, right? So if, for example, somebody were to walk into an office with a shredded pants. Unless the person is a cleaner, then that would definitely be
Are
indecent.
they supposed to be indecent?
Are the
Yeah,
cleaners supposed
yeah.
to be indecent?
No, I'm not saying the cleaners are supposed to be indecent, but if the person walks into an office with a shredded pants, then in my mind I will start thinking, okay, maybe that's because he doesn't have enough money to buy proper clothes, or you know, there is a certain. It's either the person is disrespectful, or the person just doesn't have enough money.
Okay.
So, which is why I'm like, I would rather think you're a cleaner than think you're
So
disrespectful.
if you met someone out there with shredded pants on the streets, or you wouldn't term it as indecent?
I wouldn't necessarily jump to the conclusion of saying it's indecent, because I don't know where the person is coming from or where the person is going. But as well, I think that one should be considerate about the environment around them, because what I wear does not necessarily affect me only, but it also affects the people around me. So if I'm walking into Cyber's office, yeah, and I'm barely putting on any clothes, and I know
just run out.
he's a gentleman, maybe he has a family of his own, and that's gonna raise some issues in his mind, and it's going to drive him astray, then definitely I'm being absolutely indecent, because what I'm wearing is no longer affecting just me, but it's also affecting him. Or maybe not even him, it might be affecting even a female colleague, or even anybody you meet just on the street. So I think everybody should be considerate of what they're wearing, and where they're going, who they're gonna be with, and who they're gonna meet on the way. If they're not gonna be making them uncomfortable, and you know.
So maybe to add on what you've just said, you said they should be considerate of where they're going and who they're going to meet. Now, you never know who you're going to meet.
Yeah.
You might go out there and you might go out of your home in the morning and you're probably headed for a party, but somewhere in the middle you have to abruptly go to someone's office or a hospital, or you know. So I think we should always consider to be decent at all times, because you never know who you're going to meet or where you never know what's going to come up in the middle. I think we should consider decency to be, you know,
Even in clubs.
something we
everywhere.
carry around.
Ah,
No, now that is
No.
wait.
Look,
You termed
Decent.
clubs as indecent areas.
yeah.
yes,
No, I am
they
So you can't
definitely
come
they
from a
are.
decent place and then you go to an indecent place.
Sorry.
If it's like you really want to go to an indecent place, the way you guys talked about it, and then I have to first pass maybe at a hospital or an office, but then my end point is that indecent place,
Now,
which
Cyber,
you guys
let me
brought
ask you,
up.
in the first place, why should you wear something that is going to make you uncomfortable to go to some place at some point? Why?
You know,
why?
what is indecent
don't
to
you-
you might not be what is indecent to me and to her. You get my point?
But-
There are people who have grown in communities where a short miniskirt is okay. Leave this African, this Rwandan
but
culture.
it's not just
African
about
culture.
whether it's okay with you, but is it okay with the people around you as
Oh,
well?
my
Actually-
friend, you cannot now fulfill everyone's desires on this
Cyber,
street.
It's not
Cyber.
about.
I'm not
fulfilling-
supporting indecency, but I'm saying don't look more on who is going to look at you.
No, actually,
my point?
Cyber, I think you've missed a point there. Now, something becomes indecent when you put it on and you go out to the public. Davina, if you're wearing a short skirt and a sleeveless top and you are in your house, I do not think that it becomes indecent when you put out to the public what you were not supposed to put out. Right? Yeah, so
Where does it all start? If you
look-
start to train yourself in your room to be naked, when you're in your room, you get to your room and then everything is like, you throw it. You will one day be in the middle of the population and you forget it.
no, you
Like you
no, come
reduce,
on.
like being more comfortable with you being naked. I think it is not appropriate. It's like training yourself, and you know.
No, if you are at home and you're alone and there is no one there, I think you can put on whatever you want. But if you're going out to the public, then you should always put in mind what you're going to wear, because it becomes indecent when it goes out to the public, and it's affecting those around you. Yeah.
Mhm.
The effects
The-
are
you
very
know,
many.
I personally, the way I see it, if you like, I don't really care what people wear, because it's your life, it's your body. Do whatever you will with it. But fashion is expensive.
You know.
So if you're trying to be a fashionista and you're trying to be economic as well, that's not gonna
It
work.
doesn't work.
It doesn't work. So if you wanna walk into a nightclub all naked without anything at all, by
That
all
is very
means,
cheap. Like you don't.
that
put on
is
anything.
very cheap. That's your body. Do that. But mind you, while leaving your home, call a cab. Let it know that you're going to be entering the cab naked. Enter the cab. Get to the nightclub. Walk into the nightclub and dance your life away, if
And
you like.
in the club, there is never
But-
like indecency.
And look, that's what a club is for.
You've already
right?
termed it as an indecent
It's a-
place.
it is an
She
indecent.
did. I didn't. I think
Yeah.
okay. We have DJs. Like
Mm-hmm.
we have people playing music there. So you think they have indecent jobs
No.
because they work in indecent places.
That has been said by.
Because
No.
that's a
The
question
lady
I'm
here.
asking you, because you said clubs are
Mm-hmm.
indecent places. Okay, I'm putting on this shirt of mine. So you think this shirt of mine, is it decent or not?
Actually,
Cyber.
I think
Let
we.
Answer my
I
question.
thi-
Now
I
you are
think
going
Yes,
to.
your shirt is
I think
decent.
So,
I
can go to the club with
termed
it.
as indecent depending on what's being done there.
What's being done there? What is
Everything
the
done there
target
is
of the place
indecent.
exactly?
I've never been there. I don't know clearly what is done there,
You
but I
should.
think a place is termed as indecent according to what's actually being done there.
What is being done there? What is the generally acceptable behavior there? I mean, if
The motive.
what is
of
the,
the whole-
motive of the whole place? Because Cyber, I do not think.
Is it about you being naked?
No,
the
I do
motive
not-
of that
Cyber,
place.
let me
Like,
If we go into clubs but end up spending the whole day there, let's leave that for some other time. Now, Cyber, I think she has put out her point on what she thinks indecent dressings are.
yeah, sure.
Yeah. Now, Cyber, since we've put all this at the table, do you really think indecency is a problem?
Yes, this is people have rights. You know, like you're moving on the street. Generally, not personally, of course, I have my own things. But I mean, someone is moving on the streets, and then there is also this other person is so indecent. Then they act as an obstruction to some people. Yes, which I think is not appropriate. There are people building, maybe they might even have an accident while they are, and then like someone puts on something that people can
That calls attention.
so much
and
that they really focus on that. Someone is
Negative
driving.
attention.
By the way, accidents we have in towns most of the time, sometimes they are caused by the indecence on the streets. Someone is driving, and then this I don't know whether a guy or a girl. Let's say a guy, someone, the one who driving is a female, and then this guy is passing. I heard you guys have a problem with people's chests. Now, this guy passes without, like the shirt. And then this girl can't concentrate now on the road. Looks like 6 cars there. At the end of the day,
onwards, indecency is a problem.
it's a very big problem. I think the government should intervene. If they
Okay, Devin, what do you really think indecency is a problem? Is it a problem just like it's being raised out there?
Look, I wouldn't.
Briefly.
Now, it becomes of course indecency is a problem, but it becomes indecency because of how you get from point A to point B. If you I think indecency is a problem, but I don't think nudity is a problem, because if you were as in
I thought
wearing
it's
short
the
stuff.
inverse now.
No, as in wearing short stuff and revealing body parts of your body and stuff like that. But if you have a target and you talked to, maybe let's say Davina talks to Cyber, and Cyber is like, okay, you can come to my house dressed
Like that.
like that, it's fine, I don't mind. if I'm going to Cyber's house and I'm dressed the way I want to be dressed, yeah, that's fine. Do whatever you can so that everybody else in between you and Cyber doesn't see.
He's not involved
Is
in
not
that
involved in your
whole-
business. Yeah.
So,
If you do it in your own secrecy,
Yeah.
So once
That's
again, we
just-
come back to the point saying indecent dress code becomes really indecent when it goes out to the public.
yes, it becomes indecent. Nude, I would call it nude dressing becomes indecent when it goes out to the public who haven't asked for it.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
that's my point.
Thank you very much. Now that it is a problem, like we've all agreed we've all agreed it's a problem. Who do we blame this on? Is it us, the youth, who are so hard-headed and morally
Some.
degraded, or is it our parents that are not paying attention to discipline us or to tell us what is really right and wrong?
Basically, I think if I'm to say this, both parties are to be blamed, because if you talk about the youth, not all of them do that. Yes, so you can't generalize it. So to some point, partly it's because some youth don't really get it. They think this is my body, I can do that. I think we all watched. We have seen the news like this. Some girls who like put out their videos. That was their body. They were exposing themselves, but to some point it was not appropriate
To the public.
to the public. If they did that, they recorded like a video and they just kept it for themselves. I think it was their business.
Yeah, that is your business.
But when it went beyond, when it went to a point where it went now to public, that's why I think why the government and the police intervened. Okay. Now, coming also to the parents, some parents have left us to do anything that we want, which is, I think, there is a certain age that is we are not yet sure of what is right and wrong to the people or to the whole population. So parents need to be with us like throughout our life. I think to some point you can't be very old to a point that you can't take advice. Less advice as you
A child
grow.
is always a child and the parent is always
Yeah,
a
in
parent.
front of the parent you're always a child, so you need that advice. So sometimes they are like, you are old, warakuze now, you take off. That is now where the problem comes in. So I think they should be with us, and why not? We take up the advice and we flow. So if they just not let us do whatever we want at maybe 18 plus, they come along, they say, you know something, you can put on something good. They just drop it, and with time we think about it. And
But do you think there are homes where parents do their best?
yeah.
They live an exemplary life in terms of decency. They raise their kids and tell them this is the way you should dress. This is the decent way you should dress. But then they go on and do whatever they want.
Now we let those ones be. Now those ones will be like those ones who now face the police. That's the type. I
Okay.
think, if I'm to say.
All right. Davina, in a few words as we conclude, who do you think should really take this blame for this problem that is out here?
I would definitely say parents should take the blame because they have in many ways lacked in terms of parenting. They have failed to find the balance between mentor, parenting, and friend. So some of them are too much of parenting that they end up creating disrespectful kids. And others are also more of mentors that they do not give the hardcore kind of if I would say, I don't want to use the word brutality, but they do not give the Armstrong, the iron
Parenting
fist to
and
their children to guide them in the right way. For example, I'll give you a very quick example of, I'm not going to mention my relationship to the person just for their own privacy, but there's this person I know. His father found him in the house. He was, at the time, he was a university graduate, by the way. Him and his brother were both university graduates. So they had their own house, and they were living on their own and stuff like that. Then their dad decided to pop in for a short visit. Like your dad would come say hi to you if he was in the neighborhood. He decided to pop in for a visit, and then he found them, both the two boys, with their girlfriends, and they were with their girlfriends drinking and having a fun time together. But the dad, what he did is he closed the door to the house and bet both the sons and their girlfriends together.
Come on.
And
it was just
mind
enjoying.
you,
There was nothing beyond that.
Well, okay, there was something beyond that. Like there were.
Now I'm trying to understand the parent to some point.
Yes.
If there was something
Yes.
beyond that.
So he was like, look, I in no way ever forbade you from getting married. I in no way ever forbade you from going out and having fun. But there is a right way to have fun and a wrong way to have fun. So if all parents were to be like that, to not have an age limit where you can discipline your child, because parenting is not a job that expires. It's not a job that you get to retire from. You have to be a parent regardless to the fact that your child is 5 or 10 or 40 or 60.
Thank you.
As long as you're still alive, you have to keep parenting. So I would say definitely it's the parents.
Yeah, so to you it's totally the parents to blame on this.
Definitely.
All right. Well said. Saiba here said both of us have a part to play in fighting this. My friend here, Davina, is saying the parents are totally to blame on this. Yeah. So I think all of us have a part to play in this. Parents should have an impact, a meaningful impact in raising their kids and teaching them what is right and what's wrong, as well as us, the youth. We need, we need to take on what we've been taught by our parents and take it on and do what's right. Thank you. It's been the Table Talk Show. Thank you for being with us today. Saiba and Davina, thank you for the amazing interactive discussion. I hope to see more of this. I hope you had as much fun as I had. This marks the end of our show today, but there's more to come. Thank you for being with us. See you next time. Have a wonderful afternoon.